you'll get. It's like any other learning curve based on the experience that you have as a builder. And you can bring all that into it as well.
Right.
So
no, it does help. The more you get involved in it, it's like anything else.
Let's cover in the next 4 minutes that we have in this segment some of the characteristics of the building in terms of the lead categories. One is they selected a site that had been previously developed. You want to elaborate on that a bit?
They did select a site that was previously developed. It was the Fort Ord Officers Club, okay. And we were able to, as it being part of that, we were able to reuse the asphalt paving that was in the parking lot as base rock. So it didn't have to get sent, we didn't have to waste our carbon footprint moving that material back or putting it in the dump or somewhere. It was immediately put into place as base rock for the building.
Right.
Most of the building had, with a lot of these buildings at Fort Ord, they built these things to last, and that meant using asbestos and lead and everything else that we can't use these days and wouldn't want to. So not all the materials were readily available to reuse, although most of the materials that we were able to salvage off of that were reused. And if you look inside the building at Chartwell, there is one area where there's it's in the second building, and that has wood that was taken from the officers' built and put into use as a paneling inside the building.
It's all recycled from the same site.
Right, which is kind of neat.
One of the other categories is energy efficiency, and it says that a solar system was used. Do you want to talk about that a bit, and then how that was used and developed?
Right, they used a photovoltaic system, and it was a standing seam into the metal roof, so it just blends right into it. It's a really neat look. I don't know if we have any of the pictures with that there, but it is the smart thing that the designers of Chartwell did is they dialed in the electrical use prior to sizing up the photovoltaic system. Because it's photovoltaic is very expensive, and if you use too much, you can't sell it back. You can only balance off with your demand. So from that standpoint, you don't want to oversize it, and by the same token, you want to be able to conserve the electricity that you have when you're sizing it. So a lot of detail was put to that. They were very conservative in that respect.
I'll just sort of itemize these things, and if we have an opportunity to bring you back, then we can cover some of these as well. Chartwell's building uses 60% less water than conventional building.
Oh, it's amazing.
And it's pretty sizable.
One of the reasons why they're able to do that is they have this large cistern, which is a huge tank, and they capture all the rainwater there. And it only takes about 3/4 of an inch of water over the weekend, say, of rain to fill that thing up. And in addition to that, they also have these fog catchers, which, Peninsula being what it is, creates a lot of fog, and they're able to get gallons of water as a result of that.
Hold that thought, and we have to take a break at this point. And we'd just like to thank you for enlightening us about the building that you've just constructed and all of the awards and certifications that you're being acknowledged for. I really congratulate you for that. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to be right back and continue our discussions of green buildings. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
We'll be back in just a moment with more of the Yorktown radio and television program on Historic News Talk, AM 1240 KNRY, AMP's Cable Channel 24, and on the internet at ampmedia.org. Don't forget to tune in to the Yorktown radio and television program every weekday at 5 o'clock for this live community information program. Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Tom Carlton and the guest host every fourth Monday for Your Town television and radio program. And we're continuing our fascinating discussions with those people who are building your town. And we're focused this evening on Chartwell School. And we have with us Joe Diamante from Ausonio Incorporation, who built the campus. And today they were awarded the prestigious Platinum level of certification,
right.
And we congratulate you again on that. So let's continue talking about some of the ingredients of that certification. We'll continue with LEED, which is, again, for those who weren't in the first segment, LEED is an acronym for Leadership in Energy and Efficiency Design, and it's a whole rating system that's quite exhaustive and challenging to document, I would think, to get this platinum level. And you said that they recycled a site, formerly used by the U.S. Army. You've already talked about the daylighting, reducing the need for electricity, and the energy efficiency generally. We could talk more about the, energy efficiency generally reduces operating expenses and conserves natural resources and reduces pollution. Chartwell uses a photovoltaic system that you were describing. You want to just mention that one more time, and then we'll segue into another part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. The photovoltaic system, as we had discussed, it talks about has been sized properly, which very conservatively, after doing a number of models to see where their energy level should be. So they've done these simulations to see with daylighting and different uses of materials where their optimum level of energy would be. And once they determined that, then they conservatively said, okay, it should generate this amount of, kilowatt hours per year, so let's size it with the proper system.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, they were very conservative in it, mm-hmm. because with photovoltaic, you're selling back your energy. The meter actually spins the other way, mm-hmm. but it can only spin for so long, because once you've used up all of your credits on there, I mean, there's nothing more to. You're not going to get a check from PG&E. Right. They haven't recognized users as generating plants yet.
They also mentioned that they use radiant floor heating in the buildings. Do you want to describe how that functions?
Radiant floor heating is a very efficient way of heating. It does require a lot of first costs, which we call first cost, which is a lot of capital outlay. Mm-hmm. But it's a very efficient way of heating but the reason why they wanted to go with that is they were trying to create an environment where the children were not subject to allergic reactions to mites and that. And a lot of times with forced air heating, you'll end up with that.
So this eliminates that.
This was, it's a hypoallergenic, if you will, type of